When we're in times of transition, when less than ideal circumstances, normally we're not thinking about having kids, right? You're wondering, is this world something you want to raise your child in? Maybe even now you're wondering as you look at the news and the headlines, and there's disease and there's war and conflict, and wondering, what does it look like to raise a child in this atmosphere? Does this look like a good environment to bring vulnerable little people into? Right? Raising a family is normally not what you think of as a waiting activity. But God says, this is what I want your waiting in exile to look like. This is not just passing time, flipping through magazines, hoping that circumstances change and that your time is up. This is a full engaged life that God is calling to those who are living in exile, those who are kicked out of their home country and are not allowed to return back, that those who are under Babylonian captivity. God wants them to pray for the enemies, to seek peace and prosperity for the Babylonians, and saying that their flourishing is linked with the flourishing of the city in which they're exiled. And there's a connection. There's a link. And this is amazing because most of us will not want to have anything to do with those who cause us hardship or heartbreak. Right? We just want to cut off. We wouldn't want to engage those people. But God wants his people to not only stick it out, but to cultivate life in Babylon, to be fruitful gardeners and families and a community of blessing. This, where they're at, this place of waiting, this place of not home, this place where they didn't want to go, it's not just some experience to fast forward through. It's not a place to be mentally distracted and unengaged, but it's a place for them to dig into. Right? Some of us are still living out of boxes. We don't want to get settled down. We don't like where we're at, so we don't want to get too comfy. We don't want to embrace our neighbors. Maybe we see our neighbors as competition or enemies, even though our battle is not against flesh and blood. We see our world as disposable and don't want to invest our energy here because we are not going to be here for that long. But God calls us to flourish where we are as we wait for its promises to come into fruition. We're to be productive and fruitful. We're to glorify God in our jobs and our vocations. Right? Whatever job you're in, whatever thing you're doing, that is still part of God's plan. Even if it's not your ideal job. Even if you're not living your ideal home. Even if the schooling for the kids is not the way you hoped it would be. God calls us to flourish as we wait.